You know what it is, LA Icon right here, and I'm back again with another episode of Icon's Expert Opinion. This particular episode has to do with a legend, um, legends, and that's Psycho Realm, Sick Jack and Big Duke. You know what I'm saying? In an era of us releasing lists, I myself, as well as other platforms, all releasing lists. Um, People always bring up Sick Jack and Big Duke. You know what I'm saying? And we don't include them sometimes, but it's because we're talking about right now, this month, this year. But you cannot overlook or take anything away from the legend Sick Jack when it comes to all time LA hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He has to be included. He has to be. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna talk a little bit about the story of the legends themselves. You know what I mean? And basically, if you don't know, if you're living under a rock or you're young and you're not too privy to this information that I'm about to give you, Cycle Realm is two individuals, brothers. You know what I'm saying? They formed the group in the late 80s, the Gonzaleses, you know what I'm saying? In the shadows of the skyscrapers in Pico Union. You know what I'm saying? Legendary Pico Union area. Um, their first major song was Scandalous. It was on the Mi Vida Loca soundtrack and in the movie. If you haven't watched Mi Vida Loca, go watch that movie. Timeless Chicano classic. Their song plays during like the big meeting where they're jumping fools in, and so that's kind of fire. You know what I mean? Like to be included on a soundtrack all the way back then, that's got to count for something. But yeah. So story has it, around 1994, the homies were performing like at Placita Olvera or something, and Be Real was right there, and he was the with the performance so much. He was with the vibe so much. He kind of wanted to be down. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind, this is like a legendary time, right? Because Be Real was doing his super duper duper thing back then. You know what I'm saying? And then around the, I don't know what the gap is between 94 and 97 or when exactly took place, but I remember as a kid seeing an album cover of all Latinos. It had Big Pun, Fat Joe, um, Cypress Hill, Psycho Realm, and others. I can't remember every single person on there because it was such a long time ago. Maybe I'll pull it up for the interview and put it in the thing. But it was all Latinos. I think it was like in the Port of New York. I think it was like the Source or Double XL or one of those two. I don't remember exactly. It was a long time ago when magazines were still super duper fire. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, in 1997 they were signed to Sony, where they released their first album called The Psycho Realm. They were rolled out as part of Cypress Hill's extended fam, kind of like how Wu Tang had extended little cliques, you know what I'm saying? Type of vibe. I wasn't there, so I don't know why, but uh they either left their contract or they were released from their contract. But from what I've read and from what I know, Jack and Duke were impressed at all. If anything, they were happy to be able to continue to make the type of music they wanted, because keep in mind, in this time, we didn't have the same freedom as artists to move around, and we didn't have all these platforms that you could release your things on or whatever. And I mean, again, I wasn't a major rapper back then, but everyone knows that back then the labels were trying to control your content a little bit. You know what I mean? That was actually kind of a thing. So they got out that contract and they were able to do their thing still. You know what I mean? On that album, though, they had classics or classics: Psycho City Blocks, Showdown, The Big Payback, the legendary Stone Garden. You know what I'm saying? It's just called Stone Garden. I added the legendary part. That was an epic music video, by the way. Vicious acting from all the extras in the video. The infamous bridge scene with Big Duke, you know what I mean, that a lot of people use for photos. That shit was nasty, you know what I'm saying? Devils in disguise. I don't know. Anyways, also love letters, of course. Um, It was a fire ass album, and what a time to be alive. Those songs still get played today. You know what I mean? So shout out to the original album. Crazy. Um, Unfortunately, in 1999, on a tragic night at the world famous Tommy's, the original Tommy's, right there on Beverly and Rampart, a fight took place. I don't know what happened during that fight. Who was in the fight? I wasn't there. I can't say for sure. But Big Duke was shot. The bullet ended up paralyzing him, unfortunately, and he was paralyzed, left paralyzed from the neck down. Now, and I don't say that to throw a pity party for the OG or any shit like that. That's just what happened. Just know for a fact, though, that hasn't stopped him from making beats, cultivating new artists like Disciples of the Sick, to say the very least, you know what I'm saying, and many others. He still throws events. He still has a family. He's still doing his thing. So salute to the Sick Side General, you know what I'm saying? Um they were supposed to release an album around that time, but I mean, that happened. So they also released some more projects called A War Story Book 1 in 1999. No, my bad. I think it was 2000. It was 2000. It was 2000 that it dropped. In 2003 they dropped Book 2, and in 2005 they dropped Six Symphonies, Six Side Stories, which in my expert opinion is one of my favorite songs ever in my lifetime. Uh in my lifetime, the coward stays back seat, and that's deep. Street education by that. You weren't there. You weren't there. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Fire, bro. Trust me. It's fire shit. Classical, classical, classical shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm an East Side fool, but shout out to the West Side for that one, man. It's crazy, boy. Uh, yeah. I don't know much about this thing. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. It's too crazy. It's too crazy. Look, Jack and Cynic dropped the chair tapes. I personally with One Love off of Volume 1. Volume 2 had Getaway, you know what I'm saying? Muggs versus Sick Jack, and that was crazy as when that dropped. Land of Shadows was. I always wonder what death would be like, especially when Duke came back and told me he didn't see light. Fool. It doesn't matter. Who cares? That shit's crazy, brothers. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Um I don't know, fool. As I walk through the valley of death, I can't sleep like I'm battling meth. The reaper creeps as I'm gasping for. I'm not trying to pretend to be Sick Jack. I'm just saying, if you know, you know, dog. In my expert opinion, that song's the best one on that album. Straight Bullets dropped in '09. I personally like the Six Side, and of course, Pay Dues was fire. Psychedelic was cool too, for sure. I was there for the brain damage video. I contributed to the making of that video. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Ultimately, in my lifetime, and Land of Shadows are probably my favorite Sick Jacking songs of all time. Outside, outside, of course, of the original album. You know what I mean? But that video was epic to me for the Land of Shadows. That's a that's a LA classic ass video, dog. If you haven't watched it, go search it immediately. Land of Shadows. You know what I'm saying? Sick Jacking. Um, Sick Jackin. On his own, he's done quite a bit, man. He's done a severe amount of epic ass features. You know what I'm saying? He got a Spanish album. He got some standout singles, to say the very least. Doo Wop, King. Uh, he has some cold features. I mean, cold freestyles. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, one thing you have to really, really, truly understand about Sig Jack and the Psycho Realm and all of this is they themselves created this sound, production wise, bar wise, like it's created and curated by them specifically. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shout out to TRT, shout out to everyone involved. You know what I'm saying? Mugs and all that. But I'm saying, like, it's a unit, and it's specifically their vibe. Nobody else sounds like them except them. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I don't want to say he's underrated because if you ask anyone about Sig Jack, and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's that fool," that's that dude. You know what I'm saying? But he's often commercially overlooked when it comes to who's proclaimed as some of the best in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? And if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If we're measuring this shit by success, we do gotta say he was popping in an era well before social media, way before it, you know what I mean? And he's lived on for how many years? This motherfucker been around for like 30 years. When's your 30-year anniversary, Pedro? Did we miss it? Did I miss it? Did I go to the show? Like, when is it? Is it soon? This fool's been around for a long ass time. Um, I'm proud to be able to say I could call him and he'll pick up. I'll text him, he'll text back. That's the homie, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the legend for sure. I've been fortunate enough to been invited to the shows and be able to be in his presence in the back, vibing, chilling, on stage, whatever. Vibes, big vibes, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, you can't say who's the best in Los Angeles or in the West Coast without knowing that Sig Jacken exists in this sphere. You know what I'm saying? So I always wanted to know what the gas mask meant too, you know what I mean? So one day when I was actually supposed to do this, which was a while ago, you know what I'm saying? Spencer. I called him and I said, "Yo, what exactly does a gas mask mean to you?" You know what I'm saying? And very brief in a very brief summary, he basically told me that the world is full of shit, you know what I'm saying? And the gas mask protects us from it. It filters out all the bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And I respect it, you know what I'm saying? Those are the words from the legend himself, pretty much. I mean, like I said, it's an abbreviation, but those words were spoke. You could see people with the gas mask tattooed on them this, like now, you know what I'm saying? I think I saw someone with a gas mask tattooed on them like a couple days ago, and if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the largest cult followings of any hip hop artist, act, duo, group, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So again, salute to Cynic from Street Platoon and the Psycho Realm. Shout out to Be Real. Shout out to Sig Jack. Shout out to Duke, the General. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man. Timeless classic music. And definitely staples in the hip hop game. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys check out Sig Jackin. Just type in Sig Jackin into YouTube and spend a couple minutes, scroll. Play Land of Shadows, play In My Lifetime. Like I said, those are my favorites. Easily, super crazy fire shit. But yeah. In my expert opinion, Sig Jackin is top 5 Los Angeles all time Latinos, you know what I'm saying? Top 10 overall, period. Any race, any time. Shout out to Big Duke, you know what I'm saying? Classics on classics from just one album and a half, two albums. But yeah, shout out to Big Duke the General, man, as well. But with that being said, I ain't gonna drag this out. Salute to everyone watching. This has been my expert opinion. Nah, I mean, uh, shout out to the six side, man. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave comments of your favorite Psycho Realm songs in the cut. You know what I'm saying? If you'd like. And I'm out.
That's crazy.